Should I answer questions as long as I'm standing here?
When's nobody getting out of jail?
Can you come to the microphone?
I was wondering when nobody's going to get out of jail.
I don't know, but first, is there someone who can film? Can someone film with my camera? Okay. Okay, so Rich Paul is being held partly because they have accused him of making violent statements against the government. And these accusations, I am sorry to say, are true. He has done exactly that on the program known as Free Talk Live. And that is one of the reasons why they have held him longer than the others. And one of the reasons for undertaking this costume and this march is that it seems to me appropriate that we have tried to establish nonviolent discipline within this movement. Yes, go for it.
Couldn't he just pull the Constitution out and say the First Amendment says I can say what I want and then get out of jail?
He can pull it out and say anything he wants, and I will support his right to do that, and I continue supporting him. But the government, of course, doesn't care that much. And with regard to the type of support that we render to Rich, my policy has been to try and establish nonviolent discipline by issuing warnings to liberty activists who engage in truly violent rhetoric against the government, such as telling people to kill, urging the killing of government workers. Rich Paul seems to have crossed that line, and thus I have issued him a warning that I will stop supporting him if he does it again, and continue to support him as best I can meanwhile. It seems like the best I can do. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. There should be more questions.
How far did you walk?
How
far did you walk, and how long did it take?
I walked for approximately 70 miles total over a period of 24 days. But it was a little bit more complicated than that. And I should point out that the Mahatma walked for 225 miles, I believe, over the same period of time. So he was perhaps more robust than I at a much older age.
Did you get any blisters?
Yes, I got blisters on my blisters, and he was asking if I got blisters, and there was one moment, you can see the video of it, where I was forced to stop by the side of the road and just sit down and work on the blisters, and this drew the ire of a state trooper who didn't think a person should be wearing these clothes and sitting on the side of the road. And you can see our interaction on ridleyreport.com. Right. Thank you, Footloose.
What was your best interaction with police?
That one was probably, in a way, it was the best, because they didn't know how to handle it. But most of the action, I mean, that's the one that people will find most interesting, because it was most confrontational. He didn't like me being there and not answering his questions. But most of the police were quite nice. Word got out rather fast that Bitcoin Gandhi was coming, and they would stop and offer to assist. One officer said that he was a libertarian of sorts.
Maybe next time you could meet them at each city line and be escorted by locals in support of locals.
Well, that would be nice. I certainly would have benefited from that in this previous case. But apparently someone, Mr. Osborne, or Mr. Gerhard has suggested a new march, so there's stuff in the works.
Yeah, because they have really nice vehicles.
He says they have really nice vehicles.
Did you have any unpleasant interactions with local police?
Just that first one. He was not local, he was state. So, yes. There were some that fled the scene when I began asking questions, but other than that, that was the nastiest thing I got.
Did you ever have them call backup, or was everything relaxed and friendly?
There is a second incident, perhaps a fifth or sixth incident, I can't remember, which happened later on in Concord, where there were two officers, but I doubt there was a call for backup. I'm not certain. But someone called the police because there was a man in a robe. Who else has questions?
How many times did people stop and offer you things?
I would say there were perhaps 10 occasions, or 15, depending on how you count them, where someone stopped and offered something, but it depends on how you count them. There were only, I think, 4 incidents where average people who didn't know what I was doing stopped and wanted to give me water or a ride or something like that. And then there were another, perhaps 11 roughly indication or incidents where someone would stop because it was pre-scheduled to resupply me. So. Oh, hello.
What? Oh, just have to be in this direction. Like you are going to be on that side. All right.
I should be.
It's better if you stand up there because if you're up above it.
This is.
Yeah, that's good. That's behind it. It's good. Yeah, perfect.
Is this better? All right. I should be down with the people, I suppose. I should have been, but oh well.
What's your favorite thing about Gandhi?
I think the fact that he once said, pretty much anything you do is fine as long as it is peaceful. He didn't say it quite that way. I should have the exact quote by now, I suppose. But that's what I like, because it sort of opens the door to all the things that we want to do that people don't really associate it with Gandhi. Like, people don't think of him as a gun rights person. He sort of was. But I think if you confronted Mr. Gandhi on the gun rights issue, if he were anti-gun rights in any way, he would eventually come to see your viewpoint, because of his viewpoint that you should be able to do anything you want that doesn't hurt others or committing. I don't know. I don't want to put too many words into his mouth. All right. Thank you all for coming and taking a look.